we're still in Bourg. Yesterday, when we got up, it was so foggy as we departed for our excursion to Chateaux Highlights for a most outstanding day. And the included excursion for those that did not go was to sail up to Saint-Emilion, where we were scheduled to meet them. By the time the fog lifted, the water was too high and they couldn't make it under the bridges, and so they remained here all day, which was too bad for them. But we came back and joined them here instead, so it meant that not only was yesterday's plans disrupted, but also today's. So as only a Viking representative could, our program director, Felice, arranged for everyone on board to tour a variety of chateaus this morning for wine tasting, and set up 4 different schedules which were staggered in time so that everybody could be back in time for lunch and make their afternoon excursions. Those that don't go on excursion, like I will, I'll be going to Camus and developing my own form of cognac. They will sail up to Blaye, where we will be tomorrow. This morning we were at Chateau La Dauphine, where we toured the vineyards. Chateau La Dauphine.
Here we are one of the largest estates of Fronsac, because we have 53 hectares of vines, in 90% Merlot and 10% Cabernet Franc. So here in the chateau we only produce red wine. We produce 2 different wines. Chateau de la Dauphine, our first label, our first quality wine, and Delphis de la Dauphine, our second quality wine.
And then we got to sample not 1 but 2 glasses of wine, and I enjoyed them with my new friends. It was a wonderful morning, and now it's off to make some cognac.
It's Wednesday, October the 19th, and we came to Cognac, to the Camus house, which is the 5th largest cognac producer, and it is the largest family-owned.
Is an appellation. It's controlled by law, and if you try and make cognac just outside those boundaries, it's just brandy. It cannot be called cognac. And one of the things, there are many rules that have been set down about the making of cognac. One of them is the varietals, the grape varietals that are used to make wine, which is distilled then into cognac.
After getting a tour and seeing how it was made, we got to blend our own cognac, put our own label on it. Here it is, the original M. Love cognac. It's Thursday, October the 20th. We are in Blaye on the estuary, and the Blaye Fortress is built as a protection for Bordeaux further up the river. So in the morning we took a tour of the entire citadel.
The pedestrian entrance, and the citadel that you can see today was totally built during the 17th century. But the citadel was built at the place of a former city during the Middle Ages. So during the Middle Ages, was all the city for the inhabitants, with around a big wall to protect, and also a medieval fortified castle. So it was a big fortification for the city during the Middle Ages. And during the 17th century, the King of France, with the fortress, would like to protect better the area, to protect all the borders of France, because it's a dry moat, and all the time it was a dry moat. So never water on this moat, because we are on a promontory on top of the estuary. The creek was impossible for the water to come down from the estuary to the moat. And thanks to the dry moat, the soldiers of the First and Second Light could walk on the moat and enter in the fortress without the opening of the Prince's Gate or the King's Gate on the other side, because this gate was very well closed, but you have secret entrances at the corner of fortification in different parts of the citadel and underground passages to go from the moat to the inside of the citadel, very well protected. After that, you have the second defensive line with two different elements. You have the particularity of the citadel built by Vauban. It's like a star shape from the sky because of the triangular shape. You can see one on the right here. The name of this architecture is the bastion. It is like a big triangle with at the extremity you see a small tower to have a look on the enemy coming. And here on the right, it's the same thing. It's also a bastion with a small tower. And to protect better the entrance, we have crossing this part. The name is a half moon in demi-lune in French. So half moon is the protection of the entrance.
This is the remains of a castle that was built in the 1100s.
Built at the end of the 12th century by the family of Rudel, a family of Lord of Blaye during the Middle Ages. And the most famous Lord of Blaye, the name is Geoffrey Rudel. Geoffrey Rudel was a very famous Lord of Blaye because he was also a troubadour. You know, a troubadour, it's a poet on the south of France.
Now this afternoon we're going to sail up to Pauillac, where we will dock for the night. We're going to have a winery tour, and then as a special treat, the entire ship is being treated to dinner at a chateau. Sailing into Pauillac.
And, you know, they have been known to start kind of like, you know, taking little jabs at each other saying, well, you know, our wine is better than your wine, or our pruning methods are superior to your pruning methods, and than it does with the tractor. So on the right and the left, now the Baron Philippe was a big, he loved race cars, and he had a big collection that he kept at the time in the early 20th century in this building to the right. But if you look on the left, behind the hedge, do you see a slate roof, a little cottage with the ivy? That is what they call the Petit Mouton. They call it a cottage. I call it a really nice house. But it's what they have as a chateau. It's not a true chateau, but that's where Baron Philippe and his wife Paulina lived. Tour here on the left, but we can't really see the chateau very well because it's behind the trees over there. You can see the tower, La Tour, in question. So there's the tower, and back to the left of it is the chateau. You might be able to see it a little as we go past. But this is one of my favorite views in the Medoc. I mean, just look how beautiful it is here. Because he was the admiral of the fleet, the ships, when they would sail upstream past the chateau, they had to lower their sails to half-mast. So that's why they used that image on the label. And of course the Viking ship, I'm not sure why, because he was well after the Vikings. But this was the same guy, the Duke of Épernon, that owned this place and the chateau in Cadillac. And as we drive, still harvesting, look at that, there we go. We're getting toward the end of the harvest. They're harvesting
in the chateau, which is quite rare. Today we still have someone living inside. So here we are actually in a big area called Medoc, where we produce only red wines, 100% red, and we are in an even smaller region, so the Marco regions. So we already visited some of the winery here around the regions, which we say like the wine we produce here are kind of like the ladies on the left line. Very elegant, soft, not really always powerful and aggressive. So since we only produce red wine here, but we are actually presenting you a white wine.
It's Friday, October the 21st, and we're getting our true first sailing today. We left Pauillac at 9, sailing till noon, and then after lunch, we're off on a chateau visit, 2 of them, and some wine tasting for our final excursion for a farewell dinner tonight, and then back home very early tomorrow. It's been a great trip so far, really enjoying the cruising, even though it's a bit brisk. Au revoir, Pauillac. Look at some fog on the river. That's pretty cool, eh? The first of the 2 chateaux, Chateau La Profière.
And the first family, the most important in came was the family of Stendhal, who built the chateau in the 12th century. And as you can see, it's the feudal architecture. There are just few windows, big walls,